me ducks. He's back. He's back. Good evening. Welcome to another Friday night here with the Synth Network show. It's episode 159 and I am back. Finally, I have returned from my travels. As you can see, it's organised chaos all around me. And anyway, look, it's good to be back. And first of all, before I do anything else, a huge thank you to the man you're going to meet in just a moment, Kent Spong, but also to Andrew Longhurst, to Dr. Mike Metley, to President Richard Hilton. Was there anybody else that came on? Of course, Andy Synth Addict, Andy, and anyone else that mucked in over the last few weeks and covered my considerable backside by presenting, co-hosting, generally being involved with the last few shows. Was it 2 or 3? I can't remember. But anyway, thank you so much. I haven't watched the entire stuff back. I've been told that some people say I absolutely should, others say don't, so I'm just kind of dipping in and picking out little bits here and there. But I hear it was spectacular and fantastic, and hopefully we haven't lost too many subscribers, or maybe we've gained some as well. That's always good. Listen, thank you ever so much for joining us again and sticking with us. We appreciate your patronage as always. And before we do anything else, let me just very quickly say, if you like what you see, or if you don't like what you see, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Apparently either is good in terms of engagement, but if you do like us, do let us know, because then at least we know we're sort of on the right track. If you want to comment, then of course you can do that live. You can comment on all the platforms that we broadcast on, which is YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, although I'm not entirely sure if Twitter comes through, but Twitter's a blooming firestorm at the moment, isn't it? So we're not too worried about that. Also, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell to get all your notifications. And, of course, share us around like we were... I was going to say something quite rude there, but you know what I mean. Just share us around. We like it. If you want to make a donation to the show, of course, you can do so using the Super Chat and Super Stickers in YouTube. You can do that live during the show. If you're watching post-show, then there's the thanks button. Any and all donations are gratefully received. And also, if you want to donate via PayPal, then there is that link, which I think is already below in the description. Talking of the video descriptions, I want to make an apology to everyone that uses the chaptering function. I am acutely aware, and was reminded so by a very patient viewer today, that we haven't been chaptering the videos of late, and that's just because I just don't have the time. Normally I would do it during the weekend after the show, and as you probably all very well know and probably sick of hearing, the last couple of months have been rather chaotic, so I apologise. I fully intend to carry on doing that ASAP and retroactively going through and picking out the various topics so that you can easily navigate through our shows and find the bits that you want to find. So apologies, bear with us, and we'll do that. If you want to follow us on social media like all the cool kids do, then of course we are on Twitter. We are also on Instagram. We have the main group on Facebook, so please do join us there if you haven't already. And if you do join, please make sure you answer all 3 questions. There are 3 questions. These questions, and if you answer all of those, then invariably you've proven that you are human. You're not a sentient AI machine, or maybe you are. That'll be interesting. And we'll let you in. Simple as that, really. It's not a quiz. It's not exclusivity, gatekeeping, or anything like that. And of course, we are here on YouTube, as you probably are aware. If you have any comments or questions about anything you see on the show this week, and then just do put a big capital Q in front of the question so that we can pick it out and put it into the appropriate bin, and then we'll pull it out of the bin to read out. We don't just discard them, of course. We care what our listeners and viewers think of us. Anyway, there you go. That's all the boring stuff out of the way. Let's bring in the man who steered this ship through stormy waters and came out alive, Mr. Kent Spong.
HMS Titanic.
Yeah. Watch out for that iceberg.
Yeah. What iceberg? Yeah. Hello.
Thank you for all of your assistance over the past couple of weeks managing. I didn't have to do a thing. It was great. There was no emergency phone calls.
Well, apparently I didn't do a thing either.
Yeah, apparently this train
Like
was late at
hitting
the
the
platform
live
by about
button
20
even.
minutes.
Yeah. So,
Oh, well, never
I don't-
mind.
give a
But
gun
no,
to a
seriously,
child.
mate,
What do you expect?
thank you anyway.
Yeah, you're welcome.
At
for
least
whatever.
the show got out, so that was good.
Eventually.
And of course, now that the studio here is in some semblance of order, although not much, I've actually still got our Ben.
What a wanker.
There we go. He's there in the background somewhere. Ben is hoping to be back next week, so he tells us. So Ben's kind of been going through a little bit what I've been going through. Actually, a lot of what I've been going through in terms of moving property and moving gear and stuff. So I spoke to Ben yesterday, and fingers crossed he will be in some shape or form on the show again next week, because we've missed our Ben. So yeah, we've got all the sound effects back, so we can do all of that weird stuff. And we've got lights, and we've got cameras, and I've even got a super fast internet connection. Although, yes, cameras, that was a bit of a dodgy thing this evening. So I'll be interested to know from all of our viewers if I look any better. You know, I mean, can you see the stubble on my chin? I've got super fast, super duper fast internet here. So, yeah, be interesting to see what comes up there. Anyway, thank you to all the chatties. Wagyu said, is that DX1 fixed yet? Let's see, shall we? I should Coco. There it is in all of its glory. There it is.
Answer
It
that.
is. Sorry, what? Where?
Answer that.
Oh, shut up.
Sorry. Never heard that one before.
Yes, we had a little panic. So the DX1 was the last thing to come out of the old house. Everything had to get out of the way before the DX1 could go through.
Knock down the wall.
Literally, yeah. So we had a couple of ideas about how we could get it to the back of the car as quickly as possible without doing too much manoeuvring. And my son and I were super careful, so we prepared the car first, lots of cushions and pillows and stuff, and then we did the whole lift, and we planned it all, and we just tilted it slightly to get through one door, and then it was straight into the back of the car and laid it down and covered it all up, and we drove very slowly for 5 miles from the old house to the new house, and we did the procedure all in reverse, and we got it in here, and it was kind of here to start with, because that's where I planned it to kind of be, because once all this stuff is out of the way, there'll be more space. But yeah, and then I was having a conversation with you or someone else, and the subject of the condition of the DX1 post move arrived. That's not the word I was looking for. Anyway, it came up, and I thought, oh, do you know, I haven't tested it, and yeah, I'm a little bit. So, like around midnight, I came down, much to my wife's annoyance, because the bedroom is right up there. I was ripping boxes out, finding power cables, audio cables, patched it all in, turned the power button on, all the lights came on, and that was it. There was no sound. There was none of that, and the screen was saying error, cartridge not found. I'm thinking, well, there's cartridge, what's going on? And then all the relays were clicking, and I was, oh bloody hell, have I done? I was so careful. So opened her up, as one does, and after a few days of just taking connectors out and putting connectors back in and pushing all socketed chips in, I powered it up, and boom, there it was. It was back in the room. So yes, so
Indeed,
she's here
yeah.
now, and she's gonna. That's probably where she's gonna stay. She's never gonna move again. So yeah, there you go. But she's working, and she's in the studio, and I can patch it in and play it, and you can all hear it. So now, yes, I know there's going to be people saying, right, you can do that bloody video now. Not just yet. We've got to get everything else sorted.
No.
There you go.
Nice.
Yes, it's been chaos. It's been, I mean, as you can see, there's modal stuff in boxes. The PolyBrute's somewhere in the living room. DX7 is just out of shot there in its flight case. There's a whole bunch of stuff behind that leaning against the wall. The KX88 is just there. The CS6. No, hang on, I've got to go this way. No, this way. CS6 is just there. I've got some of the stuff up because I just had to get it off the floor. But we're getting there slowly.
You should see my floor.
Sorry?
You should see my floor.
Well, indeed. I think we've all kind of been in it, really, haven't we?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But I've got my Mini Freak up on my table because that was the first thing. It was because it was small and compact and is lovely to play. So I thought, yeah, I'll get that out. And I've got my Mini Lab as my little tabletop thing here, which just got an upgrade, firmware upgrade. That one, and that has Vegas mode. So when in the evening, it's just like twinkling lights. It's very nice, very pretty. Anyway, I'm filling time here. It's 1:15. By the way, also, window is now on this side, and I will have to apologise in advance. We're not on a main road. We're just like, we're on these little kind of cul-de-sacs within a modern housing estate. Well, I say modern, probably been 15 years. So we do have vehicles going up and down. Hopefully, they won't get too picked up on the mic. I'm looking into hanging some heavy curtains just there because we've got blinds at the moment. But I apologise for any background noise. Got a nice wooden floor. Oh shit!
Where'd he go?
And it's just like you just push it and the wheels go. So yeah, it's sort of getting used to this stuff. Somebody said, "Is this room bigger than the last one?" Yes, there's more room in, not maybe so much. I think it's a little bigger, like floor-wise, square footage, but I haven't got the leaning-in ceilings, and I haven't got 2 doors. I've only got the 1 door to worry about, so I can put things like all the Jaspers will go down one wall. Yay! But there you go. That's been me for the last few weeks. How about you? What have you been up to? Because I know you. I mean, I spoke to you earlier in the week, and there was the only thing I could see was the CS80 and maybe a couple of keyboards, and everything else had been like shoved up against the wall, and there was boxes and cables, all sorts. What's been going on?
Yeah, well, I've been pulling out all the cables that were somehow not connected to anything. For whatever reason that may be, because there was a lot of gear swapping around it, so something didn't get put back or whatever. But I've been setting up a sort of like a hardware jammy kind of setup over there.
I see. You're falling into that trap.
Yeah, basically I'm trying to find an excuse for having a Lyra and a Pulsar. And actually using the MPCX and stuff like that. But I'm going to do it my way.
I did it
my way. Because I was going down the road of like, yeah, let's make some beats in it and ting. And that's not me.
No.
And I was going, no, stop trying to be something you're not, you twat. And use it, but in the way you would use it, and sod convention. Sod, yeah, I think that was a better word than I was going to use. A lot better. Yeah, so things like that. But it come at a price. I had to rip half the studio out to set all this lot up. So it's, yeah. But we're there.
Good. Yeah, none of that stuff there is connected in any shape or form. It's literally just thrown back on the racks just to get it off the floor. And I was hoping to do some more this weekend, but of course it's record store day tomorrow. And normally at this time of Friday night, I am outside a record store queuing up for silly hours to pay stupid amounts of money for vinyl. I am going, but I'm not going until like the early hours because nobody else turns up until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you get like one person. It's about 4 o'clock when the so-called the blowhards turn up, and I think, bloody lightweights! I've been here 8 hours already.
Yeah, well, you can't be that. You were very dedicated with that. And I know there are many people who would say, yeah, you're very dedicated about, record store day. Others would say mental, but most would say dedicated. to sit on a little fold-out deck chair on the pavement all night outside the front of a shop that isn't open.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
You get funny looks.
He's meant.
But, yeah. Now, this year, it was a case of all of this going on, just really didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Then I found out the prices of a lot of the stuff, and all of a sudden my list was like chopped in half because I'm thinking, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, and here I am. I know that I only ever buy this stuff with my bonus that I get at work. If I don't get a bonus, then I don't get much. But so it's my little treat to myself. I don't spend huge amounts, but I just thought it's harder and harder to justify paying that amount of money for stuff that is not really rare So I've really been very tough on myself. So I've got a small list. I'm going to go about 1 o'clock this morning or tomorrow morning. So I'm only sort of out there for 6-7 hours tops. Hopefully get what I want and come home and then go to sleep for a bit and then get up and carry on with doing some of this. But there you go.
Yeah.
It's all good fun. I am getting sensible, as Ken says in the chat. Sensible and old and miserly. Honestly, the prices. There's 12-inch singles on the list that are costing more than albums did a year or two ago. When you're paying sort of $29.99 for 2 tracks, that's when you start to think, this is a bit silly.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Well, like I said to you, the price of that new Depeche Mode album. Like,
that's just a regular album.
Yeah.
It's the way it's going.
Yeah.
Saying that, I'll give this guy a plug if I can remember his name. Let me. So I was just scrolling through Facebook as one does late last night, and this thing came up, and it was from an artist who goes by the name of. Let me just get this right here. R.J. Thompson. I've never heard of the guy, and he said, if you want my new album, I'll give you a copy for free. You just cover the postage. So, free gets my attention. So I had a look, and it said, if you like electronic music, and it said, I thought, yeah, okay, well, look, it's free. It's £3 postage. So I ordered a copy of this album. His name's R.J. Thompson. If you Google it and go to his website, there might be some left. You can get the vinyl or the CD or both if you want, and you just cover the postage. I'll let you know how that sounds when it arrives. But I thought that was, what a way to get people in. The thing is, what they're trying to do, they're trying to fund a live album that he's done somewhere. And so when you buy or get these albums for free and pay the postage, the next step is, would you like to support my live album? No, I haven't listened to your other one first, but we'll see. So,
it shows a certain amount of confidence anyway, because, if I did an album, I'd have to offer to pay the postage as well. And perhaps wash their car on a Sunday. Or every other Sunday.
I'm sure that's not the case.
Oh, I don't know.
But there you go. It's chalk and cheese. You have somebody giving away their album for free and then somebody charging £40 pounds. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. I think we should maybe talk about some interesting stuff for our viewers.
Indeed.
There's been a little bit about. I know you guys spoke about NAMM. And we're at technically. You had somebody at NAMM or two.
We
people
did more than speak about it.
Yeah. But maybe now the dust has settled a bit. Maybe a little bit later on, we can reflect, and maybe our lovely audience would like to chip in as well with some of their opinions after the dust has settled. What did you think of the NAMM experience and so on? So put that one on the back burner for a little while. But we've got a few news topics, a few new things to talk about, and let's have a look. First up, I thought this was very interesting because when Korg began to release, and I was trying to think of the collective name for these synths, but the 37-key Raspberry Pi based synths, so the Op6, the Mod Wave, and the Wave State. They were fantastic little synthesizers. little plasticky keyboards weren't great, no aftertouch on there. I think a lot of people were saying, oh, I wish they did these as modules. I wish they could do them as desktop modules or rack mount modules. You know, that would be great. Then I could just plug it in and just use whatever keyboard I want, a full-size keyboard, etc. Korg then shortly after said, oh, we're going to do the WaveState SE, which was a full 61-note, proper aftertouch capable keyboard. They even updated the factory patches to have aftertouch capability built in. Never appeared. Seemed to die a death. Maybe our friend Ian Cole, our lovely local Korg distributor, can maybe enlighten us as to why that happened, whether it was just pure economics or what. But still, no desktop version for it. And then people, I know certainly Suit and Tie Guy, took a hacksaw to his, I think, Op6, removed the keyboard, hacksawed the case, and finished it off somehow. Now you don't have to do that. Now there's this. There you go. Tool Dog Electronics, who are Eurorack module makers, have come up with a desktop conversion kit for all three of those synthesizers, and it's way exceeded. It's almost done 200% of its pledge on Kickstarter. And let's just bring that up on screen. So there it is. It's on Kickstarter. Desktop conversion kit for WaveState Op6 ModWave. They only wanted like 13.5. They've got nearly 26,000 already. 136 backers and plenty of time to go there. The actual units, which are an aluminium case, and then all the screen printings on there. You literally just take the boards out and put it into this thing. It's very simple. They claim it can be done in about 30 minutes. No soldering required whatsoever. A single conversion kit. The early bird stuff, I believe, has gone. So that was $164. This is now $174 for the standard kit. Estimated delivery in September this year. You can buy one, you can buy two and get a discount. You can buy three and get an even bigger discount over the individual prices should you buy them individually. And there are plans to do add-on end cheeks that will allow you to tilt it in a shallow angle or a steep angle. There's even these units that will join them together into one marvelous kind of like triple stack of Korg goodness. I think there was a picture, I'm sure, of the triple stack, but anyway, plenty of options for mounting there. And of course, it's made out of aluminium, so it's very sturdy. And as you saw in the video there, capable of being mounted on a VESA compatible stand, so you can stick it on one of those boom arms and like have it any way you want. Yeah, I mean, this is great if this is what you want, and somebody's done it for you. It's $174, which is probably about a third of the price of the actual synth. So, you know, some people might question the pricing, but it's custom made, has met its target. What do you reckon? Fancy one of these for your mod wave?
No.
Okay.
If I did, I got a 3D printer and I could make one for £4.
Yeah. See, a lot of people I've seen
What
people say.
happened to the 3D printing revolution
I don't know.
that everybody was going on about at some time? It's like, you know, robot housemaids on Tomorrow's World back in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that much about 3D printing. Would a 3D printed case be able to support something like a Visa mount?
Yeah, it's because you choose the thickness of the material.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
In fact, you choose everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it comes off the printer with all the holes ready for the MIDI, the holes for the screws, and all the bits and bobs. I believe there are STL files out on the net to do just this
Okay.
for these puppies already. It has been for a while. So this is basically like the metal version.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's nice anodized black aluminium case. So yeah, I mean, just the pricing is a little sort of like, you know, for an empty case, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is just an empty case, a set of screws and some instructions.
Well, it's the case syndrome, isn't it? I mean, you look at the price of powered cases for Eurorack stuff. I mean, seriously, come on. You know, nearly £600 for something that will hold only about 12 modules. It's like, what?
Yeah.
No. And but it's good. I like it. You know, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I see a lot of people have been talking about this, have been saying, oh, this is great for like taking it out, like, you know, doing an EMOM or a hardware jam or something where your space is obviously at a premium. Something like this would be quite cool to have two or maybe even three linked together in a sort of tower of power kind of thing. But yeah, it's interesting. It says $174 US, which in old money is about £140. So yeah, it's maybe a little a shade over what some people might find acceptable, but I guess, I mean, I've seen people saying, yeah, I'm buying 3 of these because I've got all 3 and I'm going to stick them all in. So or you could just do what Suit and Tie Guy did and get a hacksaw and go for it that way. But no, this is an interesting solution, and I'm surprised Korg didn't think of this already. And you know,
well, it's weird that the panel isn't connected to any particular end cheeks either end of the keyboard as well. Anyway, so it's almost like it is. You know, a single desktop module, and they go, oh, do you know what? People are going to say it hasn't got a keyboard on it. We better put a keyboard on it, sort of thing. Yeah. Depending on what market they were aiming at.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that top panel is a little too wide for a 19-inch rack conversion, according to ToolDog. Anyway, so yeah, you can't. Even if you mount it in this case, you can't stick it in a 19-inch rack, which is slightly disappointing, but it's a limitation of the original hardware. And there's another reason why, you know, I remember when these were coming out and Modal were coming out with you know, the Argon 8 and the Cobalt 8, that they were able to produce a platform where you could get a rack-mounted version. So you could either have it on the desktop or you can stick it in a rack. And the Korg stuff, I think they probably missed a trick there. If they just made it a little narrower, then they might have broadened their appeal to people who just want something they can stick in a rack or something they can stick on their desk or whatever. But yeah, you pay your money, you take your choice, and there it is. So if you are interested in that, it is let's just bring this back on the screen. There we go. So it's available on Kickstarter.com. Just look for desktop conversion kit for WaveState, Optics, and ModWave. It's done by ToolDog Electronics, so they've got a reputation of building some good stuff anyway. I think their previous Kickstarter was this lovely little thing, the Tiny NES, which actually allowed you to play NES game cartridges without any emulation. It was actually, you know, just basically a version of the NES console, and it sold very well apparently. But they're now turning their hand to doing cases for Korg instruments. There you go. So yeah, Tall Dog. It's all on Kickstarter. You've got 26 days to go to back that. $174 for a single one, and then multiples thereof. There you go. Right.
Lucky it doesn't detect the keyboard when you turn it on, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Lucky it doesn't detect the keyboard when you turn the machine on. If you did that to a Korg Oasis, it would just sit there blank going, and where's the keyboard?
Yeah, that's
handy.
That's interesting, yeah, because I guess it just doesn't look for it.
Yeah, which made me think that maybe they were thinking about doing a desktop version of that at some point.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Korg respond in any way.
Actually, I hope they don't, because these people have gone to all the trouble, Neil.
Yes, exactly.
To be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there you go. And I guess being a small company, you're able to do these kind of small niche kind of projects and runs, whereas Korg would have to ramp up all sorts of tooling and processes and what have you, and maybe it's not viable. And as Ian says, our resident Korg distributor, Korg seems to be pushing their home entertainer keyboard market more at the moment, which is interesting because they've been really quite of the big three. I think Korg have always been the more inventive and the more adventurous when it comes to synthesizers. With these three and with other things, the Volkers and all that kind of stuff. Whereas companies like Yamaha are just tumbleweed. Anyway, there we go. So that's the desktop conversion kit for the WaveState OP6 and ModWave from Tall Dog Electronics. It's available on Kickstarter.com. Links will probably be, hopefully, in the description below later on, but I'm sure you all know how to use Google. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh, there's a new synthesizer plugin for, again, we're keeping on the Korg theme, for the log series of synthesizers, which is of course the Pro Log, the Mini Log, and the good old NTS1. And this comes from our Ukrainian friends, and it's just amazing and fantastic to see that they're still producing stuff. They had to leave Ukraine. Did they end up in Spain or something? I can't remember now. But there was a big push to get them out and get them back up and running again. And now we have Dents, which appeals to me on so many levels. But it's a vintage virtual analog oscillator for the Pro Log, the Mini Log, and the NTS1. It is a mere $29 and features 4 virtual analog oscillators with saw, square, and triangle waveforms, 50 oscillator configurations with all the different settings, 4 random modulation generators, 1 per oscillator, adjustable key pitch randomization, adjustable 1-pole high-pass filter with cutoff frequency key tracking, built-in sine wave LFO for additional modulation, and built-in lag filters for noise-free, ultra-smooth parameter adjustment and modulation. The best thing about this is listening to it, and I am staggered at how good this thing sounds. I just need to remember where I've got the video. Oh, here it is. Yeah, let's have a look at this. There you go. That's Dents from Sine Vibes. I mean, that sounds amazing. I was going to get this before we came on air. Completely slipped my mind. I forgot because I wanted to try it out on my NTS1 to see, because obviously that's the smallest of all of them, and I'm always surprised at what they can squeeze out of that little box. But that sounds incredible. For a little piece of software that's just running in a piece of hardware like that. Thoughts?
when I played this, I was listening on headphones,
Mm-hmm.
and all I could see in my mind's eye was Synthex. This sounds very much like a Synthex without even attempting to do it. So you know, because the filtering is very SEM 3320 kind of filtering, which the Synthex uses as well. Yeah, and I thought, yeah, I better get this. I need to get this. I should have this, you know, along with all the other stuff that I probably won't use. But I think I'll get it anyway because, yeah, it had presence. And, yeah, I liked it. it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've done a bit of a Ben, although Ben buys it, then doesn't download it or install it. I just didn't buy it, but I will do because I think that sounds incredibly good for $29.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard worse for a lot more money. So I was quite. There is this is like a 4.5 minute preset demo video that I won't go into here, but it's on their webpage. And thank you, Mr. Brooks, for sticking the link up there. It's well worth having a look at that demo video because it does go through a few more presets, and it really does sound just incredible.
It does have a nice sound to it. I do like
I am constantly staggered about what the guy at Sign Vibes does to squeeze out so much good stuff out of that little Korg processor, whatever it is. I don't understand what's under the hood of these things, but yeah, it does sound rather amazing. And it's not a bad price either. And of course, the other thing that you can do with Sign Vibes is they have great bundles. And I'm just going to have a look to see. It's actually £23.78 in UK money, so that's even better. But they do these great bundles, either for Mac and Windows or just Mac on their own or Windows on their own, of their effects and instruments. It's not in their bundles yet. Who knows? But yeah, some really, really good stuff. Oh no, hang on a minute. No, I tell a lie. It is in their Korg collection bundle, which is literally everything they do for the Korg log series. $319 for everything. Or you've got their oscillator collection. So there's 7 different oscillator types for $169. Or you can just buy them individually. But they're thoroughly good. And the guy deserves all the support he can get, especially for what he's been going through and having to decamp from his country because of the awful things that are going on there. So credit to him for getting a machine up and running and developing still.
Yeah,
go and support them. signvibes.com/Korg Dents is the link. And thank you, Andy, for posting it in the chat. If you want to go and flick through there and go and give some money to them for some rather good stuff. Talking of other software synthesizers, there is a new freebie that I thought everyone should know about, and that is where are we? Here we go. It is from I say a company or a guy or a girl. I don't know. I always say that, don't I? Really should learn. From an individual who goes under the name of Nakst, Nakst, and I'm just desperately feeling while I try to find the link. Here we go. Now, unfortunately, there is no video demo of this, or certainly not one that I could find earlier today. This is Regency, and this is basically a phase distortion synthesizer, a la kind of Casio CZ stuff. So it does have that very kind of digital, slightly FME, phase modulatory type sound. But it's completely free of charge. It's very nicely laid out, very simple, very graphic. It's almost a kind of Pigments sort of style. It's very easy to kind of navigate through this. Lots of effects in there as well. And yeah, 2-phase distortion generators, 6 multi-segment wave graphs, ladder filter with 4 modes, 4 envelopes, 2 math modulators, 3 multi-segment LFOs, modulation matrix, 6 effect types, 3 effect slots, 24 modulation sources, 276 modulation destinations, 102 of those are polyphonic. Comes with 64 patches built in, MTS ESP tuning support, and a custom skin template if you want to design your own skins. The only downside, and if this is a downside, it certainly isn't for me, is that it's not available in VST form. It's only available as a clap plugin or an audio unit for Mac OS. And also there's a FL Studio native version as well. So there's no VST version of this, and that might put some people off. But clap is being increasingly supported. I know that Reaper supports it, and a bunch of others are beginning to bring support in. So look at it from that. There's also a standalone version as well, or certainly is on the Mac. There's a standalone version, so you can use it in that way.
Isn't Bitwig got the clap?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I saw them itching. Yeah.
They get around, don't they?
But yes, it's free. It's completely free of charge, and it's not just their first. There's Apricot as well as another free synthesizer that they've got. So do go and dig around and give them some support. And if I can't remember if you're able to send them some beer money, but if you can, please do. Did you get a chance to play around? I sort of downloaded it, had a tingle with it, and it sounded very face distortion.
I didn't. I went down a completely different route, really, which is I started following the clap route from there.
Follow the clap.
As you do. I went and got a soothing balm and read up on a little bit more about what clap was. I wasn't really au fait with clap. It's such an awful name for it. It really is. But yeah, it's a whole new neck of the woods that I would like to see expanded on as well. This polyphonic articulation and all the rest of it. I'm going, yeah, hello, bring it on. Because it was developed by, was it UHE and Bitwig, wasn't it?
And Bitwig, yeah, I believe they're
yeah. I'm looking at it and going, yeah, this could be quite interesting. So because I know Osmos are messing with it as well. So Expressive E have been playing with that as well. I go, yeah, this could be cool.
Just wish they
it is kind of intelligent software, but in terms of how it works with hardware, as opposed to telling you what to do and cooking your breakfast for you. But it's looking good. As to what it sounds like, I haven't heard it yet.
Well, let's see if we can get an instance of it running here, and then this will be a test of did Rob plug everything back in as he unplugged it? Mostly did, I think. Most of my tests have come out okay. So let me just fire up the standalone version, and then I can move that over there like so. And then what we need to do is go into the audio thing. That's a technical term, the audio thing. Add that to my sources like so, and then make sure it's not muted, which it isn't. And then I'll turn on my little mini lab.
Bang!
Which now lights up. Yeah, bang. That's the wonderful thing about software. It doesn't go bang when you switch it on.
What a bit.
Now then, let's see.
The way I use it.
Yeah, quite. There is seriously, with every time I turn this on or a Fairlight, I'm just waiting for the pop fizz as something goes up. Yeah, pull the power. Right. Let's see. We've got Regency. Let's see if this is going to come up on the screen. Oh, it looks like we're looking good. There it is. There's the plugin, and let me know if you can hear this. No. Okay. That might be because I haven't routed the MIDI. There you go. So audio output. That's there. MIDI input device. There we go. So what am I looking for? What did I just turn on? Why aren't you showing up in my MIDI connections? Or did I actually turn you on? Didn't I? Oh, that's interesting. It's not showing up in my MIDI connections. Oh, here we go. Online.
Did you fire up the software before the interface thing?
Is there a refresh? There is a refresh device. There we go. Oh, there it is. Minilab 3. Let's just choose that one. That should be fine.
There you go.
And
Yeah, ProFaf network.
Can you hear that?
Yep.
Yay! Right, so that's an init patch. In it. Let's go for some pads. I would like some pads. let's just go up an octave. Nice.
Okay.
Let's check out some basses. Okay. Definitely very digital. Although saying that. Nice. What else have we got in here? Sequences. Yeah, we all like a bit of sequence. Interesting.
Cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
Yeah, isn't it?
Went into my Japanese girl impression then.
I like this one. Anyway, there you go. That's Regency. It's a phase distortion plugin that we've just demonstrated live completely on the show. And it just proves that all my connections are there working, including the ones up here.
It's like Saturday morning at Rod Argent's.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Look, it's free. What? Not bad. For a freebie.
For a freebie.
There's plenty for you to get your teeth stuck into in terms of programming there. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. Very nicely laid out. And what can you say? It's free. And of course, I was just trying to find out whether they have a donation thing on there. Can't remember. Actually, no. Let me check. I think when you order it, there it is. When you click the order button, add that to the screen. There we go. So it takes you to the itch.io page, which then does allow you to download and name your own price. So if you click the download button, if you're tight like me, I will probably go back and pay them something for this because I quite like it. You can just skip that, but you can put your own price in there and then you get all the files. You can do additional contributions, etc., etc. Pay with card, pay with PayPal. Give them a few quid if you like it, and if you don't. Simple as that, really. So there you go. That is Regency from Next. I hope that's pronounced correctly. I don't know who they are. Never heard of them before, but they do have other synthesizers. There's Fluxus, which is a 3-op FM synthesizer. There's Apricot, which is a hybrid synthesizer with a massive sound. There's Regency, which we've already seen. There's Integrate, old school virtual analog synth. And Altitude, advanced hybrid synthesis workstation. Lots to get your teeth into. So yeah, some of them are paid, some of them are demos, some of them are free. So
yeah,
go check them out. Always like to support the little guy. Right, that's that. Say goodbye to that, and we're back on here. Let's see what are we looking at here time wise. I saw a donation fly by and it was supposed to pop up in my tabs and it didn't. and I'm now desperately trying to find it so I can say thank you, whoever you are. You know who you are. But there was a donation. Where did that go? Here we go. There's the first one. There was Synth Addict. I know there was another one though. Synth Addict, welcome back, Robbie. Thank you. Here's a little for studio cleanup cost. Oh, I wish a fiver would cover it. But thank you. And of course, that money goes to the ProSynth Network, not to my personal bank account. And here we go. I think this is the one I missed. Jeffrey Derry. Jeffrey in Canada. That was terrible. Terrible accent. Welcome back, Rob.
I'm not quite sure what part of the world that was from.
No. See, I've just got back from France, and you kind of start to.
Oh, and
when you was in Italy,
yeah.
although that was actually so yeah, it's terrible. I'm not very. I'm okay with accents if I do them spontaneously, but if you say do an accent, or I'd say to myself do an accent, I can't do it. I think that was all the donations. So thank you to everyone who has donated. If I have missed you, I apologise. But thank you very much indeed. I thought that there was this new thing now where when somebody made a donation, it actually put a little tab up the top and it stored it. But I didn't see that come up. So anyway,
Dina's only come in to see my hair.
What about my hair?
Look at this. It's very, kind of. I'm definitely there now.
You know what this needs? It needs more cowbell.
Yeah. And it won't go flat.
No,
because Fee said, she goes, I've got some hair creamy stuff. She goes, that'll help to bring it all down. And she put it on, and it just flicked off and just went all over the walls. Basically, it just will not lie down. Yeah.
Oh dear,
wrong show.
Yes, indeed.
That's tomorrow.
Right. So thank you to donations. And if you want to do that, you can hit your super chat, super stickers button if you want to carry on doing it. Right, let's see. We've got a couple of the so let's do some sound set news. So I promised. Now, did you manage to download this and play the new Mark Barnes sound set for the Hydrasynth Deluxe? Because you're the only person that you could test it. That'll be a no.
Well, apparently I did.
Oh.
And I paid for it. And he, bless him, messaged me back saying, you already got this, don't you? Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, sorry, forgot about that. But I thought I'd just get it and, you're helping out, the community kind of thing. So, you funded me. So, yes, no, I've had it for a while, apparently. And I think it's in the Hydra somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just to clear up the confusion for everyone else, this is our good friend Mark Barnes up in Scotland, who does some great sound sets for a whole bunch of synthesizers, like all the Korg stuff, the recent stuff, but also for the Hydrasynth Deluxe, which he recently got, and expect some Cobalt 8 stuff soon because he just got himself one of those. But this is Emotions Volume 1 for Hydrasynth Deluxe, and it's $11.99, which is nothing. Really, for a set of decent patches. 32 dual layer multi-performance patches designed exclusively for the Deluxe. Each multi preset contains 2 brand new patches specifically designed to be played together whilst embracing the incredible comfort and real-time expression capabilities of the Hydrasynth Deluxe. I think we should, if I just stop that screen and go to here and find the video file, let's have a little listen to some of the patches. Here we go. There you go. I mean, that's just 2 of the 32 patches, and I'm bloody impressed. Not just by the sounds, which are superb, but also Mark's brilliant playing skills. Mark's a professional keyboard player. He actually earns serious wedge from his skills. So, yeah, really good stuff there from Marky Barnes, otherwise known as Angel Star Scotland in the chat. I don't know if he's here at the moment. He might just be lurking in the background. But, mate, seriously, you've done some great stuff there. Most presets employ poly aftertouch in some respect. So all presets are set up so macros 1 to 4 make edits to the upper layer and 5 to 8 to the lower layer. So he's really put some thought into how to to use the Hydrasynth. Of course, I don't know because I don't have one still. And the way things are going, probably won't for a little while yet. But as a Hydrasynth Deluxe owner, and of course as someone who is rather partial to some Greek-inspired patches, what are your thoughts
and
on
the
that?
yogurt?
And the yogurt, of course, yeah.
Well, the thing is, he's utilising both engines in a very musical way with his patches. And they're all lovely. They are delish. It's criminal that they're as cheap as they are, to be honest. So, they explore all of the various nuances that the Hydra has to offer. Again, it's just they are joy to use. It's just that at the moment, almost nothing works in here at the moment. so I couldn't show you. But to be honest with you, I mean that video puts across perfectly well. Yeah. You know what's going on. You can see there's a ton of crap going on with very little notes being pushed to get that. So they're brilliant. Yeah. Highly recommend it. If you've got a deluxe, get it.
Oh, for £12, it's just
just get them and be done with it. Yeah.
And if you want more of that video, then go to markbarnessounds.com or to Angel Star Scotland YouTube page, and you'll be able to hear that demo in its entirety as you're clicking the buy it now button. And then you can play with them yourselves to your heart's content. Well done, Mark. Always happy to plug his sound banks. So thank you ever so much for that. I would love to be able to try them myself. Maybe one day. We'll be able to do that. Right. Let's see what are we doing here next. Oh, yes, there's another soundbank. Now, this is one that interested me, and I was hoping that maybe by now I would have had what's the synth? Oh, the PolyBrute, that's the one. I was hoping that I might have had the PolyBrute all set up, but this is a sound bank for the Arturia PolyBrute that is inspired by your heart's desire, the Yamaha CS80. So again, I'll be coming to you for some critique. Yes. But let me just play some of the demo for you. So this is by someone who goes by the name of Synth Taxi, I believe it is. That's their kind of brand name. And this is the Yamaha CS80 on the PolyBrute sound bank. Let's have a quick listen to some of the patches on here. Right, just pause it just there. I want to just get your early thoughts, because obviously you know the CS80 inside out, and this guy has allegedly recreated the presets, or tried to recreate as closely as he possibly can the standard presets on the CS80, and then built patches beyond those using the PolyBrute to try and sort of get close to that CS80 sound. Do you think he's been successful?
Well, the brass is okay. Bearing in mind, I suppose he's working with the limitations, if there are, on the PolyBrute. The chamber strings one, I don't know what bloody CS80 he had access to. 'Cause they don't sound. They do not. The string patches are the worst in the world on the CS80.
Yeah,
they are thin, spindly little buggers, and they're not worth it. I mean, even Vangelis would have his patches, strings 1, 2, 3, and 4, made into different sounds that he would use, because those strings are useless, and they've got no power at all, and they're horrible, thin crap. So, yeah, I'm hearing CS80 essence, mostly in the brass. The other patches, I'm sort of like going, I'm not quite sure where he started from, shall we say. I'm not hearing the mixture of low band and high pass filtering that would show what an 80 gets 80s character across.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing that, but it's all subjective, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Well, yeah.
You can put any sound you want together and go, oh, it's a CS80, violin or something like that. People go, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because, unless they got one in the corner of the room, or it fell out of a tree on them, they're not going to know. And they go, oh, cool, look, I got this CS80 sound. So, and it builds up all this mystique around the CS80 that a lot of it doesn't deserve in terms of like the sonic power. It's not overly sonically powerful. There's just certain areas that it is, and then the rest of it is sort of like very sort of like meh.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I listened through that video does go on. It's extensive. I don't mean it goes on. It is extensive, and it does go into depth, and you do get to hear all of the 60-odd patches that are in this bank, and this bank costs £12, I think. Again, it's really nothing. It's just beer money, and they deserve it. I mean, it's a decent little bank.
Again, it's something else to play with when you're on the PolyBrute, and you go, well,
exactly.
If I just take it this direction, and this patch I'll take in this direction, that's more what I like, or whatever.
I mean, the one thing I tried to do when I first got the PolyBrute, I did that silly thing of trying to make it sound like other synthesizers, because I think there was this thing at the when the PolyBrute came out. Certainly, one of our close friends said, "Oh, it sounds very nasally. It's a very nasal kind of tone. It's got a very distinct tone. It wasn't to their liking." Tie on me. And I thought, oh no, I actually kind of like the sound of this, and so I tried to create patches. I tried to make some Prophet 5 sounding patches, and in my ears, they sounded pretty good. And other people have done similar things, and I've got patches that have tried to emulate CS80s, and there's some the obvious ones, the horn type sounds and the brassy type sounds. The CS80 did it really, really nicely. Most synthesizers can get ballpark with those sort of sounds.
Yeah.
So it's not stretching it. The thing with the PolyBrute is that it is just this wonderful sound designer's dream, because it's such an easy synth to get really into. Like, the more I talk about it, the more I'm really desperate to get mine out of its box again. But I need to make room. So for somebody to kind of go to some length to try and recreate the CS80, like you say, it's just like if you're at the PolyBrute and you want a starting point that's kind of CS80-esque, this is as good a place as any to get you going, I suppose. What they've done, and let me just bring back the web page, which is just here. Add to stream. There we go. So this is the page, synthtaxi.gumroad.com. Thank you, Andrew Brooks, for posting the link in there. The patch bank is divided into 3 sections. So there's a famous sounds section, some Doctor Who sounds, it's Toto's Africa, Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time, Empire of the Sun is Walking on a Dream, Billie Jean.
Toto's Africa.
Yeah, well,
somebody told me, of a certain amount of authority as well, said that it wasn't an 80, it was a chroma.
Oh, I've always heard that. What? I've heard it was an 80 with some GS1.
Yeah, we'll never know.
We'll never know. Well, we'll try and get Steve back on the show, Steve Beccaro.
Oh, he might. Yeah,
he might know.
He might. Or he won't remember. He's old. He won't remember.
I don't know.
No, he'll be going, no, I don't think so. I think it was a piano, wasn't it? No, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things on there you go, yeah, I don't know whether that was on that or not, but yeah.
But yeah, and then Bruce Springsteen stuff. Well, we know the Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA, and if you listen to the demo, it's pretty close. And then there's the Michael Jackson stuff and some more Doctor Who stuff. And then there's 33 patches which emulate the tone selector preset buttons. And then there's some like individual, some original in CS80 inspired sounds in there. So there's a good collection of stuff in there. So if you have an Arturia PolyBrute, this is as good a bank as any for you to buy and get some good stuff out of it. Well worth. I think it's about 12. Let's have a look. Add it to cart. I don't want to buy this again because I've already bought it. $10 US. There you go, with £2 tax. So it's $12 US, which is about 10 quid these days in old money. So not a lot there for you to.
Why you would want Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time sound, I don't know, but there you go.
I kind of like it.
You do? I hate the way people keep going, oh, Paul McCartney's CS80. It wasn't. It was Linda's.
Yes.
He paid for it. He didn't buy it.
Yeah.
History.
History. That sound is one of the only sounds that kind of... I don't get Christmassy anymore. I haven't got Christmassy since about 1988.
Bah, humbug.
Well, yeah. Pretty much. And...
We don't get presents anymore. What's the point? Yeah,
I worked in retail for God knows how many years. Christmas was the absolute worst time, to work. So it just put me right off.
Just by association.
Yeah. So
yeah, but I mean, it was just a standard. It was just a standard sort of like little brassy sound on the 80, but using the was it the inverted saw? No, it wouldn't be. It would be the standard saw on the LFO with a bit of sustain.
Yeah.
Just about every synth on the planet can do it.
Exactly.
Don't tell everybody.
But it's that sound. It's one of the few sounds that when I hear it, I go, "Ooh, it's Christmas." It's just, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if that's what Christmas is for you, I pity you, sir. I pity you.
Anyway, all this has done is just make me hanker to get my PolyBrute out somehow. So, yes, it's motivation. That's what it is. It's motivation.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's a cheap form of motivation as well. So it's not overly expensive, was it?
No, 10 quid. Yeah,
10 quid. There you go.
10 quid.
I mean, I'll get you, your PolyBrute out for 10 quid, madam.
As the actress.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. If you are an owner of a PolyBrute.
Get your
Synthtaxi.gumroad.com. Links in the chat somewhere. Andy posted that earlier. Thank you very much indeed. By the way, good to see you in the chat room, Mr. Brooks. Hope everything is well with you. And I believe Andy Synth Addict is also there doing moderation duties.
Mr.
Not
Carpet.
that we have to. Yeah. And carpet duties, of course.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, thank you for those last week.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
He was just pointing the camera in the right place at the right time for like 4 hours.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant stuff.
I've got to pain my stomach from all the laughing. Man, it's brilliant, I tell you.
So that's kind of all of the news topics that we've gone through. We've got 45 minutes to fill, which I think we
Get
can
your
with.
kit off.
I've actually got a subject, well, two subjects. One was about NAMM, just kind of like dust settled. What did we think? And I'd like the our viewers, the audience, to chime in on this one as well. And I'll throw your comments up on screen if they're worthy of inclusion, which I'm sure they will be. Because I didn't get a chance to sort of comment on NAMM at all because I was otherwise engaged. The other topic is, and I want to talk about Prince, because it's 7 years today since Prince passed away, and it still doesn't. For me, I can't. It's weird. I just can't. It's not that I can't accept that he's gone and he's dead and he's never coming back and doing anything else. For me, he's just gone away. He's not died. I can't process the fact that he died because I am such a huge admirer and fan of his work. But I thought on the day of his passing, I thought it might be interesting to have a look at Prince's use of synthesizers, because he had a pretty good collection over the years. Although he didn't collect so much, he just bought them, used them, and threw them away a lot of the time. One of which sold recently for about 75,000 quid, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So I want to sort of have a look at Prince's gear. There's a brilliant website that I've got as a reference here, so we'll talk about that. But first of all, NAMM. What a bit of a damp squib, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys were thinking last week and talking about, but I have to say, obviously, I wasn't there, so I'm only going on everything that was fed back to us through the great work of people like Nick at Sonic State, and of course our very own Dr. Mike Metley and Andy Synth Addict and other people that were there with their cameras and their videos and doing some great reportage of the event. But it just seemed subdued by NAMM standards. Obviously, things are starting to slowly get back to normal. Last year it was in June, this year's in April. Yeah. Next year they want to get it back to January. There was nothing new, really. There was the IntelliGel thing. What was that called? I can't remember what that was called now. That semi-modular box that's over 2,000 quid. That looked kind of interesting. About the only thing, I think. Everything else was stuff that we knew about, stuff that we didn't really care too much about. There was some weird stuff like wind controllers that were okay. Cascadia. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, it just didn't. It seemed, from a synthesizer point of view, it seemed very.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really any effort. There wasn't really any excitement. That it seemed to be just like a run-of-the-mill industry trade show where maybe lots of people networked or did deals. Even Stevie Wonder. I'm sorry, look, I love Stevie Wonder. I really do. He's an absolute unmitigated genius. But when his appearance at NAMM becomes, oh God, Stevie Wonder again, move on. It was like, oh God, here we go. Stevie goes around the booths. Lots of people follow Stevie around the booths. His entourage make sure that nobody hassles Stevie, and then Stevie goes off again, probably having bought one of everything. It was just, Soma Terror. Ian says the Soma Terror was probably the best thing in his opinion in the show. And that I haven't really explored that, but I saw people getting very excited and moist about the gusset. Have you managed to get your hands on one yet? I know Robert Hetch has I think he's got one, but is one coming your way at all?
I cannot speculate at this point.
Fair enough.
Although, it was one of the better things going on at NAMM. Apart from that bloke that was killing a fox. So everything else is absolutely, it was pretty normal. Mate, the bloke on that saxophone, honest to God, it sounded like he was killing a fox.
Oh, yes, I remember you saying that.
I was Jesus Christ almighty.
And what was the food stall?
I'm still trying to get my head around. I can't remember. The guys in the chat will remember. I don't think it was the Yamaha lounge. I think it was the Kauai lounge.
Yeah.
And they had pianos, grand pianos next to each other, right next to each other. And there's literally a person at every piano, and everybody's playing a different tune in a different key at a different time. And it was like, oh yeah, this is how you find out the subtle nuances of the £200,000 piano you're playing.
Yeah.
While somebody else is doing,
It's nice to
Inception
know
next
that
year.
such classical instruments do the same thing as like the modular aisle at Synth Fest in the UK, where they're all going at the same time with different notes, different rhythms.
Such a
It's just like, my
I was
head.
Bosendorfer. All right, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah. So like you're sitting down to a nice, D250 or something like that, and you go, right, so what's the bottom end on like this? And you go, could you stop playing chopsticks for 5 minutes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trying to play some lovely classical piece and get a sense of the tone of the machine, and it's like twat next door is just hitting it with his head. So that seemed really bizarre to me. We did get a sense for how big the place is. I mean, once Andy started walking
huge,
around
isn't
it was enormous.
Everything's bigger in America.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We still want to know what they serve at the buffet Crampon.
Yeah, Crampon. What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably Foxburgers, judging by the noise that was coming from the wind section. Jesus.
We need some more dead foxes. Play that sax.
But it was really weird. I mean, they had a guy sitting near the doors, weirdly, and he was demonstrating smoke machines. You don't need to demonstrate smoke machines. And they were on constantly. Just filling the place with glycol and stuff like that. And it's like,
Oh, God.
turn them off. We know what a smoke machine is. Yeah, it was, but it was interesting. There was bits and pieces, but the internet's kind of pulled the rug out of a lot of these trade shows. Well, yeah, especially when they're too big. When a trade show becomes too big to fail, it fails. So I mean, super booths and stuff like that. It's a different kettle of fish. It's a more contained kind of thing. And Synth Fest and stuff, all them sort of shows are fine. Whereas NAMM was this super, world-encompassing show. And then the internet's come along and gone, no, it's all right, everybody knows. They're not coming. They already know everything they need to know about that bit of gear. Yeah. So, I mean, good for networking, but there again, it's 9,000 miles away from Europe. And it's like, and it's how much a night at the hotels? Really? I don't think so. I think I'll stay here.
Yeah.
And watch it on Kent's show.
I think it's, I mean, look, NAMM stands for North American something or other. So it's clearly, focused on that market. But there was always this massive appeal. I mean, I always really wanted to go to NAMM. Now I don't. What's the point? There are so many better, smaller shows closer to home that I'll get, that not only will I go to NAMM and end up walking around the vast complex and probably not really seeing, much. If I go to the more local stuff, I get to see friends and hang out with people that we know, and then also get a much more intimate experience with the things that I'm interested in. But there just didn't seem to be anything that was new. I know some people were raving about the Nina, the synth with the motorized knobs. I know Mike, that's one of the bits of the show that I caught where Mike was showing they got one of the knobs being stress tested, and just going. And I think I asked him, what happens if you hold that knob mid twist when it's automatically twisting? If I grab that knob for whatever reason, is that going to break it? Is that going to wear it down? Has it got a clutch? Does it just disengage automatically when it feels resistance? What's going on there? I didn't really kind of get much on that. And
besides, if you're going to stress test a pot, you have to stand a husky beside it and see how long it lasts. No, dog hair.
Oh, dog hair, of course, yeah.
Mate, like you wouldn't.
Yeah. I know some people got really excited about that synth because, look at that, it's recallable rotary knobs. And I thought, well, faders make sense, but rotary knobs, I don't know. Is it gimmick? I don't know. I really don't know, because I've not spent any time with one, and I've not spoken to anyone who has spent time with one.
Yeah,
to
but
see.
patch presets is the same thing, surely.
Yeah.
And then you can just have it as, you can either have it as jump or grab, isn't it? Whatever
Yes, yeah.
whatever they call it.
It's been
options
done in
and stuff.
software, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So
Yeah, interesting thing. What do we got in the chat? Well, Ian was so excited by the Terror that he's pre-ordered 2. What is it? 1 for each hand.
he's just a tart. He really is.
Yeah.
They just stick him down the back of his trousers and sit on the chair.
Yeah. Manny said that his takeaway from NAMM was the Soma Terror. If you're into that kind of thing, really nice. Ignore the motorized knobs. The Nina is a very nice synth. So beside, forget
That's
the
true.
knobs.
Just wondered whether you needed the knobs.
Exactly, yeah. While we're here, let's give some shout outs. Here we go. £3 each for a haircut. Thank you, John Simpson.
That's what caused this. It's a haircut that caused this.
Yeah, see, I
going to
try not
cure
to
it.
cut mine. Actually, no, I do. I do get mine cut fairly because I hate it long.
Spraying oil on the water.
Yeah. Thank you for that. 2X Orb. Is that 2X Orb? I'm just seeing Fairlight's 2X Orb. IX Orb. Anyway, whatever it is, thank you. Thank you for the $4.99. Much appreciated. Of course, our very own, one of our very own moderators have another $5. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, and it's really good to see you here today. Stephen Smith, that's a nice Australian dollars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. Thank you very much. I don't know what that equates to. That's usually
What, in real money?
It's about half, isn't it? We're about half of the Australian is usually about twice as much as £1. Something like that. So maybe that's about £6 or £7, which is very reasonable. Thank you very much indeed. Let's just drop those out there so I don't go and do those again.
So what was that other little thing they had? A guy had made a micro mixer, very akin to the Teenage Engineering one.
Oh, really? I didn't see
it. It was, I think Andy he saw it on one of the, literally like a little desk with a guy standing there. And he went up and asked him, and he showed this thing. It's got a slider at the top and several little knobs. I think it was Bluetooth connectivity and all this sort of thing. And it was $89. And then you did like a little circuit board. I would assume it would go into a case at some point. And it was a D-beam type of thing, but you could rock with your hand either way to get different amounts or whatever. Lots of XY axis action. And that was about, I think it was about $120 or something. So
I think, I've probably missed some stuff because I got kind of bored.
Well, we did too. When we were doing the tour, it didn't take very long to have gone round all of the stalls and seen everything.
And that's not NAMM, is it? NAMM.
And then we started to watch the people instead, and that's when it fell into a whole new, different way of reviewing NAMM.
Yeah, that's when you know things are poor, when you get into people watching.
Yeah.
But I remember when people would go to NAMM and say, I was there for 3 days and I still didn't see everything. So it's a shame. But I don't know whether NAMM's time has come and gone, whether it's going to have to change and adapt to suit the world that has changed around it whilst it was away.
Yeah.
I think we're finding it will be interesting to see Super Booth this year. I'm expecting there to be more announcements, because I think Super Booth is now taking over as the synthesizer show. It does have more of I think, who was it who said this? I forget. If you said this, I apologise for stealing it or somebody. They say it has more of a festival vibe. You buy a ticket, you go for 3 days, and you walk around. You watch this and you do that, and it's more about the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because where else can you go and see a guy dressed up as a banana?
Indeed.
And he's not there as a promotion. He's one of the guys wandering around looking at the gear.
Yeah.
And he's dressed as a banana.
It's Berlin. Anything good.
No, this is NAMM.
This is NAMM.
This is NAMM. This is where you get to see guys dressed as bananas. It's like, why?
Okay.
Why?
Interesting.
Fruit fetish. Who knows?
No, I'm looking forward to Super Booth. Obviously, because it's my first time there, and me and Ben are going, so that's really cool. But I think it will be from a synthesist's point of view, I think it'll be much more exciting because obviously it's very focused on that. NAMM covers all sorts of things. It covers the entire music industry, so we mustn't forget that. Yeah, I mean, Ian said there was no Korg, no Roland, no Fender, but I got told off by Mr. Metley because apparently certainly Korg were there, but in a very, very small capacity, simply to kind of tick a box to say, yeah, we attended, we can still be members or something like that. But yeah, I don't know.
They're hiding in bogs or something, were they?
Yeah, it's very odd. But conversely, Korg showed up at Synth East in Norwich. So it just makes you wonder if they're not invested in going to NAMM, yet they will happily bring a stack of gear to a first-time small synth event in a converted church in Norwich. What does that say about NAMM?
Yeah.
And I thought Yamaha might be making an announcement at NAMM, and they didn't. So I was a little surprised. I can't say what I know, but I was expecting that to come out last week. It didn't. But anyway, I think
things didn't.
Yeah, I think I don't know. NAMM, schmam, spam. It's been and it's gone. Let's see if it comes back next year in its prime time slot at the beginning of the year. Maybe that will make a difference. I don't know. We will see, but. Slightly disappointed. I will say that, bless him, Dom Hawkins' Discord server is still active, and the one thing that I always daily get notifications from is the automatic channel he set up for letting people know what videos have just gone live on YouTube or wherever, and we're on that list along with the likes of Starsky Car and Luke Pop and of course Sonic State. And I actually used that Discord channel as my news feed, so I didn't have to go everywhere. Every video that Nick posted for Sonic State was thrown up into this channel, so I would then go off and have a look. And there was, Nick was doing obviously his best job, which he does very, very well, and him and his team, Jim Hayward and the gang, were doing some good stuff. But as the stuff came through, I was like, no, I don't really care about that. No, I don't care about that. Don't care about that. So it wasn't the exciting times, but then the world has changed. Right, let's move on. We've got about 25 minutes left, and NAMM's gone. Let's forget about it. Look forward to Super Booth in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
I'll never forget that guy in the banana suit, though. That's the thing.
I'll have to go back and check that out. Was that on the show? Did we capture it on the show?
Oh, God, yeah.
Right, okay.
And we made a comment.
Excellent.
We might have made a comment.
Yeah. So as I said before, today represents the 7th anniversary of the passing of Prince Rogers Nelson, who passed away on April 21st, 2016. It was a shocking day. I remember it well, and not for any good reason other than the fact that we lost probably, arguably or not, one of the greatest musicians of his generation and for many other generations. I mean, whether you like the music that Prince made or not, and I've rarely find anyone that doesn't like some Prince, but whether you like it or not, you cannot argue with this guy's just amazing skills and ability, and his steadfast mission to make music that he wanted to make without any compromise, without any conformity. He ploughed his own furrow and he ploughed it deep. That's probably a bit of a euphemism. He was a very sexy man as well, and I actually met him once, like in person, and I couldn't talk. I was very cotton-mouthed. But I saw him live numerous times, and he blew me away every single time. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about some of the synthesizers that Prince used, because he was known for using some, but maybe not so much others. And I happened across this brilliant website. So if you're a musician and you're a fan of Prince, then there's this website called guitarcloud.org, and it is a Prince equipment archive. And it's not just like a list of things. There are articles. They cover guitars, keyboards, basses, effects, amplifiers, drums and percussion, recording and production. You can browse by artist, browse by equipment, browse by era. There are rig diagrams, everything. If you are into Prince and you're into, you know, music technology, this is an absolute goldmine. And I'm just going to throw it up on screen now, because what I'd like to kind of talk about, in, you know, nothing in no great detail, but just talk about, you know, some of the synthesizers that that Prince used, or keyboards, shall we say, because we're going to cover things other than just synthesizers. And when you look through, funnily enough, when you sort by most popular, and I don't know what the criteria were, I guess it's how often he used them and where he used them, or maybe how successful the records that were used, that they were used on, were. But DX7 is right up the top there, right next to the D50 and the Fairlight. Oberheim OBXA, ARP Omni, JD800, which apparently he absolutely loved. He had two of them connected up, so he could do some stuff with those. He had literally had every Oberheim, KX88, Fender Rhodes, CP70s, OB8s, Polymogs, Insonics, OB4 voice, Hammond organs. I mean, just so much stuff. And I don't think people kind of have him down, because they always, you know, have him down as this amazing guitarist, which he was, but maybe not so much a synthesist. Yamaha Motif, according to this website, that he absolutely loved the Yamaha motifs. Who knew? I mean, something as sort of,
Yeah, he had but there was a Mirage on there.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we used it in '86 on this, that, and the other, and all the rest of it. And I go, well, I doubt it, because it's it's the DSK one,
right,
which didn't come out until '87, end of '87. So it's probably not that one.
Yeah,
because that's not the Mark One, that's the Mark Two. Might
just be a picture.
Yeah, but
thing.
you do. But when you got an archive and you go in, you start reading and looking, and you go, that's suspect.
True. Yeah.
You know. But
True.
hey, you know.
But the one thing, I mean, this isn't just like some fanboy or fangirl who's just come put. They reference and they you know they cite their references where they got all the information from. So I think maybe that's probably just I think, oh yeah, let's find a picture of a Mirage, and there's one, without sort of specifically looking at the fact that it's, you know, that particular version. However, that said, another thing, I remember seeing a picture of the control room in the main studio at Paisley Park, and there was an Emax 2 rack mount, and I thought, oh, I've got an Emax 2. And apparently he was a huge fan of the Emax keyboard and rack mount, and apparently used these when on tour. Rather than having the Fairlight, they would actually convert all the stuff out of the Fairlight onto the Emaxes, because just like Depeche Mode did, they would take all of their Synclavier stuff and Emulator 2 stuff, and for many years just went touring with Emaxes, either the ones or the twos, because they're just, you know, like built like brick outhouses. So yeah, Emax was used all over Lovesexy, Graffiti Bridge, and Batman. Obviously, the Fairlight, you know, he was. And so here's another classic example of the wrong image. And I had this argument with Electronic Sound magazine when they used this image of the Arturia plugin as their main feature image on an article about the Series 2 CMI. So this is somebody going on the internet looking for a Fairlight image. They find that, oh, that looks like it. It's not. I can feel an email coming on. I pissed off the guys at Electronic Sound when I told them, in a very polite way, honest, I really was. But yeah, he was a big Fairlight fan. In fact, I was speaking to a guy some while back who was Prince's Fairlight programmer in the studio at Paisley Park. And he used not just the Series 2, but he also used the Series 3. It's all over Sign of the Times. And of course, the very famous DX7. I had to get this one in, but this picture is of Prince's DX7, which sold for
it looks like a touring DX7.
Yeah, $75,000 this went for, and this was verified as being Prince's DX7 that he used, and apparently he didn't program it, he just used presets, which just like everybody else, so you are no different. But look, if you are a Prince fan and you have a DX7 or a DX7 plugin, there is a list of songs where he's used it, whereabouts in the song it's used, what the patch name was, and of course, as you see, these are all presets, and what the patch numbers are on the ROM cards and stuff. So yeah, it's all there. This is a great website, really is. Forgiven the images, the information is pretty good.
Yeah.
We all know that he loved his Oberheims. Everyone knows the intro to 1999 was just like, yeah. But he loved his Obies and his ARP Omnis as well. Excuse me, the JD800. Yeah, apparently he loved this so much he bought two and combined them into a single like hybrid sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm not completely familiar with the JD800. Can you polychain it, or was it just a case?
No, I don't think its MIDI was that advanced.
No. But yeah, if you listen to Prince sort of circa Love Sexy onwards, where obviously Love Sexy was this baby, D50 was like all over it. It was almost like, there you go. There's another great list of songs with the presets, because he just loved the presets. But it was almost like a demonstration record for the D50. From that, you could hear the very digital. He didn't have this thing about just got to be analog. It was just like, does it sound good? Then it's good. Some really good stuff in there. Let's scroll all the way down. Let's see what else we've got. So we've got his bespoke Yamaha piano, which he had a number of different pianos. One of which was I can't remember the name of it now, but it had this motorized lid. It's gorgeous thing. Emulated 2s, Ensoniq EPS ASR 10, vintage keys modules, Korg M1s, TRs, Alesis Ions. Lots and lots of stuff.
A bit of Nord action going on there.
Yeah. So yeah, he really did like his synths and his keyboards, as I think we all probably know. KX88 even.
Probably had a B3 as well, didn't he?
Yeah. But as I said, he wasn't sort of particularly fussy about what he used, as long as it just kind of sounded good. I did try to find some video footage of him in the. I distinctly remember a clip in my head of him just knocking out a bass line on something like an M1 or something. But I didn't want to. I couldn't find it. A, and B, I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to get a copyright strike, because they're quite hot on that kind of thing.
They are indeed.
But this is a fantastic website. So I say, if you are into Prince, and particularly to music technology as well, then you can go through the eras. So if you want to find out what he was using on Sign of the Times and the Black Album, which were all kind of recorded much around the same time, you see the stuff he was playing live. So he had the cloud guitar, then he had a Sigma acoustic, and he'd got a KX88 linked up to an MKS20, as many people did back in the day. There's his rig diagram of the pedals and the effects and the amps, and the speakers, and then of course there's the studio equipment. It's incredibly extensive. Really is a veritable trove of wonderful, interesting information if you're into that kind of thing, as we are.
The Prince tribute bands must be queuing up to get on the site, aren't they?
Well, there you go, yeah. And of course, you can also browse by artist. You might think, oh, why this is Prince? But of course, Prince had a huge amount of people playing with him. He always had some of the finest musicians that you could get. And so if you want to know what Wendy Melvoin was playing, where she appeared on the instruments, the effects, you just click on that and there you go. Keyboard, so where's Dr. Fink? There it is. That's it. So I've spoken to this guy. He is such a nice guy. A friend of mine is a friend of his, and we were all invited onto my friend's like birthday Zoom call during COVID, and Dr. Fink was there. I was like, whoa, really, really nice guy. But yeah, there's a list of all the equipment he was using, and then of course you can then skip to that to learn more about it. It's a great website. But yeah, Prince. Were you a Prince fan? Were you just appreciator, or?
Oh yeah, I was. I like the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. Like hugely into him. He's clearly a very, very talented musician. He done some really good work. Yeah, but I was always more of completely the other end of the spectrum. Basically, I was down there with Larry Fast and Vangelis and what have you.
Yeah,
Yellow Magic Orchestra. And all that sort of lot. I was down that end, being a complete nerd. So, but yeah, no, he's a fantastic artist. But, you get really, really big, and somehow life finds a way to turn around and kick you in the ass.
Well, I mean, I don't want to go into too much about his passing because I have opinions. Let's just say that his religious affiliation prevented him from, or forbid him from having surgery where blood transfusions might be involved. And the reason he was on wickedly strong painkiller, fentanyl, he was on. I think I was reading the investigation when it, after it all got done and dusted. The drugs that he was on were fake cocodamols or something very close to cocodamol.
Right.
But actually they were fentanyl. So if somebody stopped you and had a look at, it was just like cocodamol, but it was actually fentanyl, very strong fentanyl. And he was taking them because his knees and his hips were shot to bits. Because if you're 5'0" dancing in heels like this for 30 years, jumping off of stages, doing the splits and all that kind of stuff, then you're going to screw your joints up. And then at the end of the 20th century, when he really hooked up with Larry Graham, and Tausifi Music has just backed this up here, and Larry Graham converted him to Jehovah's Witnesses, which means that you're not allowed to have blood transfusions. That's one of their things. And he turned to pain relief because he didn't want to have the operation. Had he had the operation, he'd probably still be with us now. And the ironic thing is that Prince's team called a drug specialist who would have been able to have weaned him off, because that's what they did. And they called them 2 days before he died, or 1 or 2 days before he died, and they said they couldn't get there until like the 22nd or the 23rd of April. Of course, Prince died on the 21st. So it's amazing what somebody's beliefs will do, and the consequences of those. But anyway, that's another subject for another day. But it is sad, and when you're in that position of wealth and privilege, and you want the strongest painkillers there are, there's always going to be somebody who will provide it for you at a price, of course. But I miss the guy. I really do. I miss seeing him live. I miss hearing his music, I miss hearing the music he could have made. Listen to a lot of it all the time. So there we go. Drugs are bad, okay. And on that happy, cheerful note, we draw this show to a close. It's been brilliant to actually be able to do this again. I did kind of miss it in a way. It was nice to have a break, but I kind of missed it.
It's been nice doing the show and not having to worry about whether I push buttons or not.
Yeah, that's my problem there. So I can do things,
Yeah.
Press button, have sound effects and stuff.
Santi, dum-de-dum-de-dum.
What a wanker.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't wait. Honestly, I seriously cannot wait. I've not spoken to Ben face to face now for seems like ages.
That's because it is ages.
Yeah, but he's getting sorted, so that's really good. So, actually, whilst I have a captive audience, there is a show in London that's going to be happening for the second time. It's called GearFest. It's down at Tileyard Studios. This time, it's going to be over a weekend. So last year it was a single day. This year it's going to be over 2 days. Excuse me. And I wanted to know if there's anybody out there who is going for 2 days and what their plans are for accommodation overnight, because if there's a chance that we could all maybe stay in the same place, that would be cool. So if you're going to GearFest in London, which I believe, if I check my calendar, I can't remember the exact dates. GearFest 2023, here we go, 15th and 16th of July. So if you're going and you're staying the 2 days, what are your accommodation plans? Maybe we can organise something, because we've got a couple of months. It would be great if we could all stay either in the same place or around the same place. Or we could, yeah, there we go. Matt's got the right idea. Because, it's a tube ride and a Southwestern trains from Waterloo out to you, isn't it?
If you like sleeping with a husky on your head, you're quite welcome.
Well, have you met my wife?
Charlie's a lot hairier.
Have you met my wife?
Oh, squeak!
I've got to be careful as well.
No, laddie, you got to be careful because she can hear you.
She's just across there, whereas before she was down the other side of the house. She's just across there now.
Yeah, and it'd be like.
And I don't know how soundproof this thing is. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, if it'd be good if even if we don't stay in the same like hotel or B&B or whatever, if we all kind of stayed somewhere close, then we could all go out on the lash on a Saturday night. Anyway, answers on a postcard or into the Facebook group. That would be useful. Or just send me a message if we're friends on social media. Just send me a message, and maybe we can organise something. There we go. Right. Chris Blythe is in the chat. Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you. He's just reminded me that there's a really good film on Apple TV Plus at the moment called Tetris, which is all about Tetris, and it's a really, really good film. However, the soundtrack is done by one of Hans's proteges, Lorne Balfe, and Lorne has recruited not only Chris Blythe, but a couple of other people from the sort of synthesizer Fairlight community. Roger Bolton was another one. There's a few others, and they all helped out on the soundtrack, which is very synth heavy, and lots of Fairlight on there as well, and is now available to stream and download and buy at all your usual places. Not the motion picture soundtrack, which is a collection of great songs, but the actual score by Lorne Balfe. Go and get that. It's really a really good listen. So just thought I'd mention that. And congrats, Chris. I saw your name in the credits along with a few other familiar names. He didn't call me. Why didn't he call me? JJ
all your gear was out of commission.
This is true. JJ Yengzalik is on there as well, as is Roger Bolton, who is a fantastic proponent of the Fairlight, who's done some amazing work at the moment down at Real World for Peter Gabriel. So yeah, go and check that soundtrack out. It's very, very worth it. I think that's everything. I think I've padded enough. We've got a few minutes left. We can do the goodbyes in. Chris has just said that he used the Fairlight he built, and if you don't know what that means, go and check out Chris Blythe's YouTube channel where he builds a Fairlight from scratch. he takes components and bits that he's rescued and bits that Steve Rance has loaned him or given to him, and he's put them together and he's built a Fairlight from the ground up. And it's a rather wonderful thing. I think Synth as well kind of syndicated the video, so you can find it on their YouTube channel. But yeah, well worth a look. Anything planned for the weekend, sir?
Work. More work.
Anything in particular? Anything interesting?
No, not really. Bread and butter stuff. There is somebody's chopped up a Casio CZ.
Oh yeah.
That I need to get up and kicking for them, with sentimental value attached to it. Yeah, so that should be. I haven't had a CZ in for a long time. So.
I did send somebody your way regarding a 303. Can't remember who it was now, but I remember saying, "Oh yes, Kent loves a 303."
Yeah, especially the way they smash against a wall.
So yeah,
pretty pattern.
Question in the chat: are you doing your pub this weekend?
Yeah, probably, almost certainly, probably, definitely, almost probably,
almost certainly, probably, definitely.
Probably, definitely, almost certainly, probably. Yeah.
Jolly good stuff. Well, if anybody's in the Bury St Edmunds area in about 4 or 5 hours' time, I should be sat outside a record store. What the hell am I doing?
I don't know. Do you take a sleeping bag and a thermos and all that lot with you?
No, because luckily I'll drive and I can park right outside the shop. So if it does, the weather does get a little bit inclement, I can just get in the front seat. But I should probably take something to chug on. It can't be alcoholic, of course, but
well, yeah, they frown on that, don't they?
They do. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if anybody's down that way and wants to give us a shout, then yeah, I'll be there. And yeah, I think this weekend, apart from recovering from tonight's exertions, it's more unboxing. So don't expect this to look any different next week. If it is, I'll be amazed. So
yeah, same with this bag of cats down here.
Indeed. Anyway, I should also be playing with that as well, because I love that.
Blake
Right
7
then.
is alive and well.
Yes. The what? Sorry.
Blake 7 is alive and well.
Well, yeah. Yes, quite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could only do that because I can't reach all the way up there.
Steady, you'll pull something.
I know. Yeah. I need to MIDI it up and do some stuff. Anyway, right. We will be back same time, same place next week. Fingers crossed, Ben will be here. So everyone cross their fingers for the next 7 days. And hopefully Ben will be back. If not, we'll be here. We might have a guest. We might not have a guest. We need to get back on to that. We've got some people lined up. So yeah. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take the greatest of care. Thanks to everyone that made a donation. Oh, by the way, there was a question I missed. Very quickly. Anything about Arturo's LX24? No, because it kind of came out last week or the week before. I bought it. It's brilliant. It really sounds great. So maybe we can talk about that next week. Yeah, because I think Ben will probably got that as well. Because it's a Lexicon 224 kind of inspired thing. They don't actually say that in the blurb, I guess, because they could probably shouldn't. But anyway, yes, it's very good. It's very good indeed. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about that one later.
Compare
right.
it with my UAD one.
Yes, apparently that's a lot. I've seen a lot of people saying, "What's it like? Is it anything like the UAD one?" I've got I can't remember the name of the company now. Begins with R, something or other. I got their basic one. It was all right.
Yeah, I think I know the one you mean.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you're watching on catch up, thanks for coming back. And we will see you all same time, same place next week. And until then, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. Make lots of great music. And we will see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Ta-ta.
Au revoir.